All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're reading this. We're going to go through Sea of Monsters, Chapter 7 with the cursor read along. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through the New York State standards. These are the I can't statements. So, standard one, you're going to read closely to determine what the text says explicitly or implicitly and make logical inferences from it. Cite specific textual evidence when writing or speaking to support conclusions drawn from the text. Standard two, you're going to try to determine central ideas or themes of a text and analyze their development. Summarize the key supporting details and ideas. Standard three, analyze how and why individuals, events, and ideas develop and interact over the course of a text. All right, here we go. Chapter 7. I accept gifts from a stranger. The way Tantalus saw it, the Stymphalian birds had simply been minding their own business in the woods and would not have attacked Annabeth, Tyson, hadn't and I hadn't disturbed them with our bad chariot driving. This was so completely unfair, and I told Tantalus to go chase a donut, which didn't help his mood. He sentenced us to kitchen patrol, scrubbing pots and platters all afternoon in the underground kitchen with the cleaning harpies. The harpies washed with lava instead of water to get that extra clean sparkle and killed 99.9% of all germs, so Annabeth and I had to wear asbestos gloves and aprons. Tyson didn't mind. He plunged his bare hands right in and started scrubbing, but Annabeth and I had to suffer through hours of hot, dangerous work. Remember, this takes a long time between slides here. Bear with me. Especially since there were tons of extra plates. Tantalus had ordered a special luncheon banquet to celebrate Clarice's chariot victory, a full-course meal featuring country-fried Stymphalian deathbird. The only good thing about our punishment was that it gave Annabeth and me a common enemy and lots of time to talk. After listening to my dream about Grover again, she looked like she might be starting to believe me. If he's really found it, she murmured, and if we could retrieve it. Hold on, I said. You act like this, whatever it is, Grover found is the only thing in the world that could save the camp. What is it? I'll give you a hint. What do you get when you skin a ram? Messy? She sighed. A fleece. A coat of a ram is called a fleece. And if that ram happens to have golden wool, the golden fleece? Are you serious? Annabeth scraped a plateful of deathbird bones into the lava. Percy, remember the Grey sisters? They said they knew the location of the thing you seek, and they mentioned Jason. 3,000 years ago, they told him how to find the Golden Fleece. You do know the story of Jason and the Argonauts. Yeah, I said. That old movie with the clay skeletons? Annabeth rolled her eyes. Oh my gods, Percy, you are so helpless. What? I demanded. Just listen, the real story of the fleece. There were these two children of Zeus, Cadmus, and Europa, okay? They were about to get offered up as human sacrifices when they prayed to Zeus to save them. So Zeus sent this magical flying ram with golden wool, which picked them up in Greece and carried them all the way to Colchis in Asia Minor. Well, actually, it carried Cadmus, Europa. Europa fell off and died along the way, but that's not important. It was probably important to her. Stay with me. In 1 minute. The point is, when Cadmus got to Colchis, he sacrificed the golden ram to the gods and hung the fleece in a tree in the middle of the kingdom. The fleece brought prosperity to the land. Animals stopped getting sick. Plants grew better. Farmers had bumper crops. Plagues never visited. That's why Jason wanted the fleece. It can revitalize any land where it's placed. It cures sickness, strengthens nature, cleans up pollution. It could cure Talia's tree. Annabeth nodded, and it would totally strengthen the borders of the Camp Half-Blood. But Percy, the fleece has been missing for centuries. Tons of heroes have searched for it with no luck. But Grover found it, I said. He went looking for Pan, and he found the fleece instead because they both radiate nature magic. It makes sense, Annabeth. We can rescue him and save the camp at the same time. It's perfect. Annabeth hesitated. A little too perfect, don't you think? What if it's a trap? I remember last summer how Kronos had manipulated our quest. He'd almost fooled us into helping him start a war that would have destroyed Western civilization. What choice do we have? I asked. Are you going to help me rescue Grover or not? She glanced at Tyson, who'd lost interest in our conversation and was happily making toy boats out of cups and spoons in the lava. Percy, she said under her breath, we'll have to fight a Cyclops, Polyphemus, and the worst of the Cyclopses. And there's only one place this island could be the Sea of Monsters. Where's that? She stared at me like she thought I was playing dumb. The Sea of Monsters, the same sea Odysseus sailed through, and Jason and Aeneas and all the others. You mean the Mediterranean? No. Well, yes, but no. Another straight answer. Thanks. Look, Percy, the Sea of Jackson, sea, the Sea of Monsters is the sea all heroes sail through on their adventures. It used to be in the Mediterranean, yes, but like everything else, stay with me. It shifts locations as the west center of power shifts. Like Mount Olympus being above the Empire State Building, I said, and Hades being under Los Angeles. Right. But a whole sea full of monsters, how could you hide something like that? Wouldn't the mortals notice weird things happening, like ships getting eaten and stuff? Of course they notice. They don't understand, but they know something is strange about that part of the ocean. The Sea of Monsters is off the east coast of the U.S. right now, just northeast of Florida. The mortals even have a name for it, the Bermuda Triangle. Exactly. I let that sink in. I guess it wasn't stranger than anything else I'd learned since coming to Camp Half Blood. Okay, so at least we know where to look. It's still a huge area, Percy, searching for one tiny island in the monster infested waters. Hey, I'm the son of the sea god. This is my home turf. How hard can it be? Annabeth knit her eyebrows. We'll have to talk to Tantalus, get approval for our quest. He'll say no. Not if we tell him tonight at the campfire in front of everybody. The whole camp will hear. They'll pressure him. He won't be able to refuse. Maybe. A little bit of hope crept into Annabeth's voice. We'd better get these dishes done. Hand me the lava spray gun, will you? That night at the campfire, Apollo's cabin led the sing-along. They tried to get everybody's spirits up, but it wasn't easy after that afternoon's bird attack. We all sat around a semicircle of stone steps, singing half-heartedly and watching the bonfire blaze while the Apollo guys strummed their guitars and picked their lyres. We did all the standard camp numbers. Down by the Aegean, I am my own great 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 grandpa. This land is Minos' land. The bonfire was enchanted, so the louder you sang, the higher it rose, changing color and heat with the mood of the crowd. On a good night, I'd seen it 20 feet high, bright purple, and so hot the whole front rose. Marshmallows burst into flames. Tonight, the fire was only 5 feet high, barely warm, and the flames were the color of lint. Dionysus left early. After suffering through a few songs, 89, he muttered something about how even Pinnacle with Chiron had been more exciting than this. Then he gave Tantalus a distasteful look and headed back toward the big house. When the last song was over, Tantalus said, Well, that was lovely. He came forward with a toasted marshmallow on a stick and tried to pluck it off real casual like. But before he could touch it, the marshmallow flew off the stick. Tantalus made a wild grab, but the marshmallow committed suicide, diving into the flames. Tantalus turned back toward us, smiling coldly. Now then, some announcements about tomorrow's schedule. Sir, I said. Tantalus' eyes twitched. Our kitchen boy has something to say. Some of the Ares campers snickered, but I wasn't going to let anybody embarrass me into the silence. I stood and looked at Annabeth. Thank the gods, she stood up with me. I said, We have an idea to save the camp. Dead silence, but I could tell I'd gotten everybody's interest because the campfire flared bright yellow. Indeed, Tantalus said blandly. Well, if it has anything to do with the chariots, the Golden Fleece, I said. We know where it is. The flames burned orange. Before Tantalus could stop me, I blurted out my dream about Grover and Polyphemus' island, and Annabeth stepped in and reminded everybody what the fleece could do. It sounded more convincing coming from her. The fleece can save the camp, she concluded. I am certain of it. Nonsense, said Tantalus. We don't need saving. Everybody stared at him until Tantalus started looking uncomfortable. Besides, he added quickly, the Sea of Monsters, that's hardly an exact location. You wouldn't even know where to look. Yes, I would, I said. Annabeth leaned toward me and whispered, You would? I nodded because Annabeth had jogged something in my memory when she reminded me about our taxi drive with the Gray sisters. At the time, the information they'd given me made no sense, but now, 30, 31, 75, 12, I said. Okay, Tantalus said. Thank you for sharing those meaningless numbers. They're sailing coordinates, I said. Latitude and longitude. I learned about it in social studies. Even Annabeth looked impressed. 30 degrees, 31 minutes north, 75 degrees, 12 minutes west. He's right. The Gray sisters gave us those coordinates. That'd be somewhere in the Atlantic, off the coast of Florida. The Sea of Monsters. We need a quest. Wait just a minute, Tantalus said. But the campers took up the chant. We need a quest. We need a quest. The flames rose higher. It isn't necessary, Tantalus insisted. We need a quest. We need a quest. Fine, Tantalus shouted, his eyes blazing with anger. You brats want me to assign a quest? Yes. Very well, he agreed. I shall authorize the champion to undertake this perilous journey to retrieve the Golden Fleece and bring it back to the camp, or die trying. My heart filled with excitement. I wasn't going to let Tantalus scare me. This is what I needed to do. I was going to save Grover and the camp. Nothing would stop me. I will allow our champion to consult the oracle, Tantalus announced, and choose 2 companions for the journey, and I think the choice of champion is obvious. Tantalus looked at Annabeth and me as if he wanted to flay us alive. The champion should be the one who has earned the camp's respect, who has proven resourceful in the chariot races and courageous in the defense of the camp. You shall lead this quest, Clarice. The fire flickered 1,000 different colors. The Ares cabin started stomping and cheering. Clarice! Clarice! Clarice stood up looking stunned. Then she swallowed and her chest swelled with pride. I accept the quest. Wait, I shouted. Grover is my friend. The dream came to me. Sit down, yelled one of the Ares campers. You had your chance last summer. Yeah, he just wants to be in the spotlight again, another said. Clarice glared at me. I accept the quest, she repeated. I, Clarice, daughter of Ares, will save the camp. The Ares campers cheered even louder. Annabeth protested, and the other Athena campers joined in. Everybody else started taking sides, shouting and arguing and throwing marshmallows. I thought it was going to turn into a full-fledged s'mores war until Tantalus shouted, Silence, you brats! His tone stunned even me. Sit down, he ordered, and I will tell you a ghost story. I didn't know what he was up to, but we all moved reluctantly back to our seats. The evil aura radiating from Tantalus was as strong as any monster I had ever faced. Once upon a time, there was a mortal king who was beloved of the gods. Tantalus put his hand on his chest, and I got the feeling he was talking about himself. This king, he said, was even allowed to feast on Mount Olympus. But when he tried to take some ambrosia and nectar back to Earth to figure out the recipe, just one little doggy bag, mind you, the gods punished him. They banned him from their halls forever. His own people mocked him. His children scolded him. And oh yes, campers, he had horrible children. Children just like you. And that's where I'm going to stop on page 99.